Fuck all of this authoritarian party-driven violence and evil. Fuck all of this authoritarian party-driven greed and hatred. I can't hold back anymore. I can't nice guy my way through this today. The online political evolution is a solution. It's positive and peaceful, liberating, independent, modern, honest, transparent, and pro-democratic republic. But I have to say this raw and real. Fuck all of this authoritarian party-driven violence and evil. Fuck all of this authoritarian party-driven greed and hatred. Fuck the decades of party-driven corruption that has destroyed our freedoms and liberties and dishonored our Constitution and everyone who has ever defended it. The immense corruption of both political parties and the many types of violence it creates is, of course, nothing new. We have been on a steady path to full-scale authoritarianism for over 50 years. And here we are. This is hell on earth. Voters all want truth, and the party-driven system created systems of lies, misinformation, and divisive propaganda. Voters all want peace, and the party-driven system creates systems of international and national violence. Voters all want health and prosperity, and the party-driven system creates systems of greed and human suffering. This is not democracy. This is not democratic republicanism. There is so much good, kindness, love, compassion, courage, knowledge, creativity, and wisdom in our country. And it's worth fighting for. And that's what I love talking about the most. I love so many things about humanity. But we have to look this problem directly in the eye. The authoritarian party-driven problem is long-term, systemic, and structural. You must look beyond all individuals and see the belief systems and political systems that have been in control to understand the deepest roots of the problem. You must look beyond the current crises of 2026 to understand that the root of the problem has been with humanity for thousands of years. Yes, in 2026, the authoritarian problem is intensifying, but the roots have been here for thousands of years. Yes, again, the OPE is a solution. The only path away from authoritarianism humanity has ever had involved inventing, enhancing, or improving democracy and our democratic republic in some way. Becoming more democratic as a society has always taken immense amounts of collective courage because fear is always what fuels evil and the authoritarian engines. But let's stay focused on the problem. Authoritarian governance and political corruption are what humanity has never overcome. Together, they are responsible for more suffering, more death, and more stolen futures than any other force in human history. Across centuries and civilizations, authoritarianism has destroyed billions of lives. What makes this truth even more devastating is how predictable it is. Authoritarian corruption looks strikingly similar in so-called developed, developing, and underdeveloped nations. Whether labeled first world or third world, the pattern repeats. Economic power overtakes political power. Wealth captures governance. The political system becomes financially corrupted. Once that happens, the consequences are always authoritarian and always evil, regardless of rhetoric or constitutional language. Humanity has had the right theory for government for a long time. Democratic republicanism and the U.S. Constitution are correct. They are amazing, empowering, egalitarian, courageous, wise, and just. What the party-driven system has refused to do is consistently implement it. This gigantic failure to consistently align our practices of democracy with the amazing theory of democratic republicanism our Constitution creates is because of the corrupt and violent party-driven system. The party-driven system in the United States has created, perpetuated, and refused to fix a long list of deeply authoritarian outcomes. These outcomes have persisted regardless of which party has held power. Decades pass. Administrations change. Elections come and go. And yet the same horrors remain. The long-term persistence of these gigantic problems and systemic human suffering is the evidence that the problem isn't about any individual. The problem is long-term, structural, and systemic. The centuries-old party-driven system is the problem. If an issue causes immense human suffering for decades, sometimes centuries, despite overwhelming public opposition, then that's authoritarian. The voters do not want these outcomes. The fact that they continue proves that the real will of the people is being overridden. Here's the strongest evidence of party-driven authoritarianism in the U.S. These are not fringe concerns. These are the largest, most destructive failures of government, and nearly all voters agree they should not exist. Yet these violent realities exist because of the corruption of the party-driven system. Party-driven system creates and perpetuates never-ending war in the military-industrial complex. War brings death, destruction, generational trauma, and unimaginable opportunity costs. Trillions of dollars are poured into violence while human needs go unmet. While some military actions are framed as defense or liberation, most modern wars are economically motivated, enriching a few while devastating millions. Soldiers are underpaid, veterans are undercared for, families are shattered. If trillions of dollars were not funding death, what could they fund instead? The party-driven system created and perpetuates legalized political corruption. This is one of the rare issues with near universal agreement. Voters across every demographic recognize that the political system is corrupt, and yet corruption persists because the system benefits from it. Every political decision at the federal level is bought and paid for by donors, lobbyists, and super PACs. We have been more of an authoritarian party-driven oligarchy and flawed democracy than a functional democratic republic for a long time. The authoritarian party-driven system created and perpetuates widespread poverty. Systemic poverty in the United States is vastly undermeasured and misunderstood. When survival necessities are properly accounted for, housing, healthcare, food, childcare, transportation, the scale of suffering becomes undeniable. Widespread poverty drives crime, violence, health crises, addiction, and enormous downstream costs. We spend fortunes treating the symptoms of the problem while refusing to eliminate the cause of poverty. 60% of our country is now living paycheck to paycheck. 60%. Widespread systemic poverty is and always has been a political decision that most voters know is extremely destructive. The authoritarian party-driven system created and perpetuates violence and identity-based prejudice. Identity politics weaponizes our diversity. All positive identities are valid and can easily coexist. The division, fear, and hatred is manufactured. It is not natural. The authoritarian party-driven system created and perpetuates educational inadequacy. This is not a failure of teachers or schools or school boards. Most of them are incredibly underpaid. It is a national funding failure. From early childhood through education, many institutions are chronically underfunded, creating generational inequality and wasted human potential. The authoritarian party-driven system created and perpetuates lack of support for children and families. This is huge and so crippling. Raising a family is increasingly expensive, stressful, and unsupported. This is not a personal failure, it's a systemic one. We have to support all families, all children, and all parents. This is not hard for governments to do or controversial among voters in the slightest. The party-driven system created and perpetuates healthcare as a source of suffering, preventable death, chronic illness, financial ruin, a system dominated by insurance and pharmaceutical profiteering produces suffering as a feature, not a flaw. Healthcare is a human right. Healthcare workers are not the problem. Most of them are wonderfully compassionate humans. The system the party-driven system creates around healthcare workers is barbaric. Party-driven system created and perpetuates nutrition and housing crises. Millions lack access to nutritious food and affordable housing, basic necessities, in one of the wealthiest nations on earth. The party-driven system created and perpetuates technological authoritarianism. The unregulated rise of big tech has fueled divisive and fear-creating online echo chambers and a surveillance state, while concentrating informational and behavioral power in ways that threaten freedom, autonomy, and democracy itself. The authoritarian party-driven system created and perpetuates fear-based divide-and-conquer politics. The party-driven system thrives on fear. It divides families, friends, neighbors, communities, and states. Loneliness and social fragmentation are political outcomes, not cultural accidents. People are taught to fear each other instead of love each other. People are taught to blame other suffering, disempowered voters instead of confronting the systems that profit from suffering. This is the conclusion we must face. If nearly all voters agree these problems should not exist, and yet they persist across generations, then the party-driven system producing them is authoritarian. We need the online political evolution on voter-directed network because there is so much in this country worth fighting for. There is so much good here. And let me be as clear as I possibly can be. I love the United States of America. Truly, deeply, unapologetically, I love our country. Our land is breathtaking. Our people are phenomenal. Our culture is vibrant, creative, resilient, and full of life. We are a beautiful slice of humanity, a mosaic of art, poetry, music, comedy, sports, theater, literature, and community. Our rituals, our hobbies, our diversity, our stories. There is so much good. And that's the point. Our people are not the problem. Voters are not the problem. The American voters are overwhelmingly good. The American people are compassionate and caring, hardworking, empathetic, courageous, creative, and wise. This is America. This is who we are. We are one of the most educated and capable populations of humans that has ever existed. We have experts in every field, innovators in every discipline, thinkers and builders and doers in every community. What stands in our way is not the people. It's the authoritarian party-driven political system. The problem is the current political structure, the broken, flawed, immensely corrupt, increasingly authoritarian, deeply divisive, and often violent party-driven system that has held our country back for generations and routinely ignores the Constitution. But here's the good news. The problem is enormous in impact, but small in essence. The problem is a single system. And now with the online political evolution on voter-directed network, the system is fixable. It's fixable from a grassroots level. Individual voters can act to fix this problem by joining voter-directed network. And when voters collectively choose to modernize and evolve, we move beyond the party-driven political system into an online democratic republic that is voter-directed. When that happens, we unleash something extraordinary. We unleash our full potential. Voters already know what to do. We already know what is just, courageous, and wise. We already have the ideas, the solutions, the expertise, the creativity, the compassion, and the courage. What has been missing is a system that allows us to use it. Our Constitution set the foundation. Our voters bring the knowledge and wisdom. Our technology brings the capability. Now all we must do is collectively choose to evolve the system. Humanity has never done this before. No democratic republic has ever solved the party-driven problem. No democratic republic has ever moved beyond the crippling nature of political corruption. No society has ever had the technological ability to build an online democratic republic. Not until now. Not until the ubiquity of smartphones. We stand on the edge of something historic. We stand on the edge of something hopeful, beautiful, and profoundly American. A system that actually creates political justice and political freedom for all. A democratic republic that truly gives all power to all voters. When we move beyond this corrupt and authoritarian party-driven system, when we empower voters, all voters, to build a nation that truly thrives, we will create a nation where peace is possible, where prosperity is shared, where collaboration replaces division, where unity replaces hostility, where solutions replace stagnation and widespread systemic suffering. I love this country. I love our people. I love our Constitution. And I love what we are capable of becoming. We are ready. We are able. We are courageous enough. We are positioned for success. All we have to do is evolve one system, the one system that has always held us back, and embrace the voter-directed online system that will move us forward. The moment we choose to evolve, the moment we collectively choose online democratic republics on voter-directed network, our potential becomes limitless.